What is up, everyone? Jay here with another From Heroes video, and today we're going to take a look at the double mythic hero banner that's coming up. And of course, as expected, they are the new OCs of the current book. The first one being Höðr. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but I'm going to call her Höðr, the Dusk Shadow God. And she is a blue bow flyer anima defense mythic, which is interesting. There's not, many colored bow units, especially of the flyer variety, I feel like. Well, I mean, we have a few, but compared to other colors, not as much. So Dusk Rifle is her weapon, and I find it funny because Höðr is like, I think she's blind from what she said in the story, yet she has a gun, which is funny. But anyways, Dusk Rifle, -1 cooldown, effectiveness against flying foes. Of course, start of player phase or enemy phase grants the following effects to unit and allies within 2 spaces for 1 turn. Okay, just res +6, which is interesting. Usually it's attack and res or some other stat. Bonus doubler and damage reduction halving by 50%, excluding AoE. So that's an interesting set of conditions, but that's going to help for units that want to get those bonuses. And then at start of turn effects trigger, or after start of turn effects trigger on enemy phase, for unit and allies within 2 spaces of unit, converts penalties into bonuses. Oh, so she has kind of like harsh command built in. That's cool. And also neutralizes 2 penalty effects, does not apply to penalty effects that are applied at the same time. Neutralizes the first applicable penalty effects on the unit's list of active effects. So she has the cleansing effect on top of that, which is very, very good. Ninja Saline, Attune Maikaya are the 2 units that can do that. And now she is adding to that list, being a defense mythic, and Freyr too as well. So that's really good. And then if unit initiates combat in 2 spaces of an ally, grants bonus to units attack speed defense res equal to the number of allies within 3 rows 3 columns centered on unit times 3 plus 5 maximum 14. We've read this so many times before. Deals true damage 20% of units res. You make a guaranteed follow-up attack, and you grant the special jump -1 before your first attack during combat. So she's going to be having a lot of res while hitting really hard, having some good support, of course. And I thought she'd be speedy, but I guess she's going to be res based. And then she comes with Ice Wall to fit with that, because it's going to boost damage by 70% of your res, and then also you get damage reduction as well from it. We've seen Ice Wall before. And then you have Attack Res Mastery. The only other variant we have is Attack Speed Mastery, which was on the Nephilim Sakura alt, I think, which is good. Blue Skies is overall better in terms of what it does, but it's not allowed on every unit. Mastery is available on flyers, for range flyers, should I say. So Attack Res Mastery is nice, gives you the Canto 2 and extra stats, and then also more stats as well if you have a Divine Vein effect. And then Attack Defense Discord, we have the defense variant of this. And then her pure FC skill, Truth Keeper, defending an Aether range during Anima or Chaos season. After combat, for unit or allies on the map, destroys foes' safety fence. Wow. So we have a skill that just targets a specific structure. We had Duma back in the day, who would destroy a structure, but it would just depend on what column he's in. But for Höðr here, she doesn't care. It doesn't matter what row she's in or column or whatever. She just destroys the safety fence if you have it. So this also triggers even if unit or allies defeated in combat, which is crazy. And then for allies within 3 rows 3 columns centered on unit, grants attack res +5. You have the flat damage reduction by 7 on the first attack during combat, including the brave hits. And you also have 7 HP healing to that ally. And then you give the same thing to yourself, I assume, to herself, and then you of course deal the flat X times 5 damage, maximum 15. You reduce damage by 7. You have the healing, and you grant special cooldown count -X to unit before your first attack during combat, on top of the special jump you already have on your weapon. So Truth Keeper is really good. Safety Defense is very useful for strategies, and just destroying that is going to really help. So she's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with on defense, because she provides support. She removes debuffs and has the ability to destroy safety fence. So, and of course, it's going to hit really hard. So there she is, using her gun to shoot down Marnie. I know some people are happy to see that, because Marnie is definitely annoying sometimes. And that is Höðr, Mythic Höðr. And then now we have her partner in crime, Baldr. So she won CYL, so it's funny to see her getting her mythic. I mean, it makes sense, right? Of course they're gonna drop the OC mythics even if they won CYL or not. But she's a dark defense mythic, and she is a sword flyer, as we saw from the paralog maps, and she was really broken because you couldn't do any damage to her, and her weapon had, I believe, like uncapped true damage or something like that, if I recall correctly. Sun Sword, -1 cooldown, and you also have Iode Shield built in, so you're not weak to bows. After start of turn effects trigger, enemy phase converts bonuses, okay, on closest foes, and foes within 2 spaces of the foes into penalties. Oh wow. So she, if you're using like Dual Marth, which is bad news bears for me, if you're using Dual Marth, then those buffs that he gives are just going to be negated to penalties, which sucks. So that can really cripple some units, and just cripple in general. If unit niches combos in 2 space finale, grants bonus to all of her stats equal to the number of foes within 3 rows of your column centered on unit times 3 plus 5, maximum 14. You grant charge, special charge +1 per attack, deals true damage 20% of your speed, and then you also reduce damage for foes attacked by X during combat. And then if foe is red, green, or colorless, X equals 50 of unit speed. And then otherwise, if they're blue, I suppose, right, because that's the only other color, then it's 20% of your speed, excluding AoEs. And also, when foes attack trigger foe special, reduces damage from foes attacks by an additional X, so you get even more flat damage reduction. So she's going to be very bulky and very strong, and also has the ability to cripple your units by not negating buffs, by flipping buffs on them and then turning them into penalties. So that's an interesting condition. So basically, for your blue unit, the damage reduction is not going to be as high, but if you're any other thing besides a blue unit, then you have 50% of your speed for the damage reduction. And you also apply Divine Vein Flame on 5 spaces in a line centered on a foe's space, and on 5 spaces behind those spaces. What did I just read? So you trigger the Divine Vein Flame terrain on 5 spaces in a line centered on foe's space, and on 5 spaces behind those spaces, based on direction unit is facing for 1 turn after combat. I'm not gonna lie, I'll have to see that visually for it to make sense, but whatever. And then Celestial Form is her special. This is 3 cooldown, boosts damage by X% of unit speed. Oh my goodness. Usually specials, or most specials, are going to trigger with a set number. But in this case for Baldr, it's X% of speed, just like with her flat damage reduction. So when special triggers, if any space within 2 spaces of unit has a Divine Vein applied, is defensive terrain, or counts as difficult or impassable terrain for units other than flying, that is going to be 60% of your speed on the damage, otherwise 40, this is actually really good, because I mean, obviously, but like, you have the Divine Vein, you can have defensive terrain or have impassable terrain, which isn't the most difficult thing to have, but even then you're still getting some damage, and Baldr's going to have stats for it. So Celestial Form, giving you that speed based on whatever is on the map, is cool. And then you also have damage reduction if your unit's speed is greater than the foe's speed or equal to that. -4 on any space within 2 spaces of unit that has Divine Vein effect applied is defensive terrain, so same condition. And then reduces damage from foes attacked by 40%. So this is a really good skill that works into her favor and plays on the terrain. Obviously we had terrain before, but I've never seen a unit quite like this that really depends on the terrain or has conditions that are based on terrain like this. So you have to have a Vein effect applied, is defensive terrain like a fort or something, or one of those spots where you can, I don't know what they're called, but you know what I'm talking about, in like arena, or has impassable terrain like a tree for units other than flying. So yeah, let me just try to understand this. If any space within 2 spaces of unit or foe has a device, so there can't be a flyer. I don't know. It's a crazy skill. We really haven't seen a condition like this. But yeah, that's Celestial Form, and it's going to make her very annoying to kill. Blue Skies 4, we've seen that before. Justice Enforcer is her PRF B skill, so this is going to destroy the safe defense if you're defending an 8th raise during Dark Chaos season. Okay, same thing as Höðr. And then you also inflict exposure at the start of turn and closest foes within 2 spaces of those foes through their next action. And then to start a combat, if you're alive, you inflict -5 on everything except for res on the foe. You deal the +Y flat damage output, maximum 15 of that. Y equals the number of foes within 3 rows of your column centered on unit times 5. So the more opponents there are, the stronger she gets. You also have damage reduction by 7 from the foe's attacks, and you also have no follow-up. So no follow built in. And then to start combat, if you're alive again, you decrease. So you have potent built in, and then you have the potent follow X%, of course, during combat. If exposure is active on the foe, X equals wow. So she gets the full potent if exposure is active, and she already gives that out. So this is insane. She's gonna hit really hard. Gonna be able to hit more than twice a lot of the time. Negates your buffs or just cripple your buffs, flip them over. She has tons of flat damage reduction. flat damage output. And then she comes with attack speed, hold guide. Hold guide is such a good skill as someone who uses Dual Marth. Dual Marth's speed defense hold guide is so useful for that Omni Warping for pretty much any unit. So yeah, that is Baldr. She's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I feel like she's a little bit more powerful than Höðr in terms of a defense mythic. I don't know. This is just a first impression video, but here she is taking on Emblem Lyn. I mean, Lyn is out of her depth anyway. She's green, so it's not the best matchup for her. And there's a safety fence being destroyed by Baldr. Baldr is going to go ahead and kill it just automatically. It's just gone, and then take out Piazzi. So yeah, Baldr is going to be insane, and her CYL version is also coming out, so that's going to be even more crazy. Can't say I'm looking forward to that too much, I guess. Personally, I didn't really want Baldr to win, but she has a lot of fans for obvious reasons, so congrats to those fans of her. So that is the banner, or should I say the 2 new units, and then we'll look at the rest of the units on the banner for their colors. So we have Goto, kind of a dud. Goto's not the greatest right now. Legendary Male Robin is also not the greatest. Legendary Male Leader is okay. Legendary Male Corrin is alright. Rune is pretty good. Legendary Air is great. Hadron is pretty good still. Athos is great. Nui Baba is great for the Arcane Medusa. And Elm is amazing. He's a menace in summer duels, in your own hands, and Aether Raids. He's really, really good as someone who has him at +10 on accident. So yeah, those are the colors. I'd say red is probably the best because you have Baldr, Elm, and Legendary Era. And Legendary Era and Elm also share colors with Dual Marth, if you guys saw my summoning video for that a while back. So those 2 units are very, very good and also provide amazing fodder. Speed Taker, Brutal Tempest, Attack Speed Excel, and then Elm has Preempt Screech, and then the other beast skill, I forgot what it's called in its beast slot. So red is definitely the best. For Höðr's color, for blue, you have Nui Baba. So if you want not rearmed, Arcane Medusa for a unit, I kind of want to get it because I don't have it for my Lind. I want to give her that. Maybe, I'll see. But yeah, that's pretty good. It's not as good as obviously Elm and Era, but having a rearmed unit is always nice. A new one, modern one. And then the other blue unit is Athos, who's still amazing in my opinion. He's a really good reinforcement unit. If you put like Lyn Ring, I mean, even without reinforcement, he's still pretty good. He hits really hard. And is also hard to kill when he has teammates. And then we have green, which is not very good. You have Legendary Male Robin. I mean, Hadron makes up for it. She's still pretty good. And then Legendary Male Corrin is okay. Not the greatest legendary, but he's alright. And then we have Colorless, which has Rune, Goto, who's arguably the worst unit on this banner, and who's the third colorless unit? Am I tripping? Am I missing someone? Or did I... Oh yeah, sorry, Legendary Male Leader. Yeah, he's a third. He's okay. He can definitely Omni Tank if you really invest into him. For sure, he has Miracle built in, so he's definitely not as... I think he's still better than Legendary Male Corrin, definitely better than Legendary Male Robin. So Colorless is definitely the worst color, so I say red is the best. Then you have blue, of course, green, and then colorless. So that is the banner, guys. Let me know what you guys think, and good luck if you're summoning on it. I might summon on it just for Nui Baba because I want to get that tome for Lind and maybe duplicate some skills. I don't know, but I just summoned for Rearm Layla for my summer Lind as well. So I don't know. We'll have to see what I decide. But if you guys decide to summon, good luck. Please leave a like if you enjoyed listening to me ramble as usual. Please stay safe out there. Peace out.